day everyone. So for today's video, we are going to explore a specific language policy. 1987 DEC's Order Number 52. The Department of Education, Culture and Sports reiterates provisions in the BEP, use of English as MOI in science, English and mathematics, and Filipino spelled Filipino after 1987 as MOI in Filipino, social studies, character, health, work, and physical education at all levels of education. Regional languages remain auxiliary MOI Castillo 2000, Decker and Yang 2005. How is or was the language policy being enacted in schools? The policy on bilingual education aims at the achievement of competence in both Filipino and English at the national level through the teaching of both languages and their use as media of instruction at all levels. The regional languages shall be used as auxiliary languages in grade 1 and 2. The aspiration of the Filipino nation is to have its citizens possess skills in Filipino to enable them to perform their functions and duties in order to meet the needs of the country in the community of nations. The Department of Education, Culture and Sports shall cooperate with the National Language Commission, which according to the 1987 Constitution shall be tasked with the further development and enrichment of Filipino. The Department of Education, Culture and Sports shall provide the means by which the language policy can be implemented with the cooperation of government and non-government organizations. The department shall program funds for implementing the policy in such areas as materials production, in-service training, compensatory and enrichment program for non-Tagalogs, development of a suitable and standardized Filipino for classroom use, in the development of appropriate evaluative instruments. What are the language issues associated with the language policy? According to Aurora E. Batnag, there is widespread misinformation and misunderstanding of the bilingual education policy. Many fear that such policy is aimed at the total replacement of English by Filipino. Such fear results in the negative attitude toward Filipino in the cities of Cebu and Bacolod. In these places, those who attended the consultation denounced what they called imperialist Manila for ramming down their throats policies that hurt their native pride. Attitudes and opinions regarding the national language and their native tongues, Davao, Tuguegarao, Puerto Princesa, and Zamboanga, have a positive attitude toward Filipino, which serves as lingua franca among residents who speak different native tongues. Cebu and Bacolod, on the other hand, may have exhibited a negative attitude toward Filipino, but it should be made clear that they do not want English or their native languages is a national language. They just do not want to equate language with nationalism. Problems encountered in the implementation of language policies for most is a lack of accurate information regarding the language policies. On the use of Filipino in government communications, participants in the consultations admitted their lack of competence in the use of written Filipino, lack of references and manuals in writing in Filipino. As medium of instruction, the teachers admitted that they still needed some more training in writing Filipino and in pronouncing words. They also complained that school administrators still refuse to fully implement the bilingual education policy. How are or where these issues seen evidence in actual language instruction? Most research now concludes that learning achievement is enhanced when children are taught in their mother tongue for at least the first 6 years of primary school before the second language. The main language of instruction is introduced. In bilingual models, students continue to use both mother tongue and second language as languages of instruction for a range of academic subjects throughout primary and secondary schooling. If the transition from mother tongue to second language is too rapid, the risk is that students will not attain full mastery of either language. Perceived status of the mother tongue language. In communities where many languages are spoken, there may be a disagreement about which language should be taught as the majority language. A minority language may have a lower status within the community, making acceptance of mother tongue instruction more difficult, as well as the reluctance of mother tongue learners to use their language. Do you agree or disagree with the policy? As a Filipino citizen, I am passionate about my country's language, Filipino. My first language, Bisaya, is also one of my preferences. This policy is not unfair nor biased because it ensures that regional languages will be recognized in order to promote and enhance our national language. In my nation, learning other languages is both pleasant and demanding. It is because we are different and distinct that we are amazing and exquisite. However, acquiring a new language is difficult for young learners, particularly elementary students who speak a different language at home or in their community. If we learn a new language and utilize it in every domain in our workplace, we have a good chance of learning and adapting a new language quickly. However, this is not the case. Furthermore, as an English major, I believe that adopting English as a medium of instruction, if ever approved by law, will be an incredible movement for the benefit of all students. The main reasons are that we need to recognize that language is primarily used for communication, not to instill a false sense of pride, and that the world has evolved into a knowledge economy in which knowing English confers a significant economic advantage. Yes, other countries grew with a lower command of English, but they benefited from the fact that they were homogeneous cultures with lengthy histories as nations, like Japan, Korea, and China, which meant that they had strong nationalistic impulses that aided their development. We do not, so we'll take any advantage we can get. Apart from that, many people in Japan, Korea, and China are attempting to learn English. I'm not saying I agree with this approach, it's because I'm attempting to make the most of all the opportunities that may present themselves in our life.